Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to my channel, Saved by an Angel. My name's Ash, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 visitations that I've had by Jesus and the opinions that I've formed about him because of these. So, I'm not going to go into super detail. I've already made videos talking about it. I'll leave a link at the end of this one. It's called Meeting Jesus on Third Beach. And if you scroll down, you'll see another one called Meeting Jesus. I go into much more detail. But the first experience I ever had encountering Jesus, I haven't made a video about. So if you're new to my channel, in 2014, I tried to take my life by starting my car in my garage when Archangel Michael appeared and stopped me from doing it. About 9 months later, I decided to completely change my life by leaving behind all these things that no longer served me, like drinking and smoking and gambling. Thing is, I identified so much with that after 3 months or 4 months. I had no idea what brought me joy anymore. And that's when I discovered art and creating these steel tree sculptures that I call the Miracle Tree Collection. And my first ever visitation was while I was working on one of these trees. Anytime I work on them, I like to call upon Jesus, the archangels, and ask them to place any beneficial energies into them. And right after doing so with this one, I said to Jesus, if you can place any energy into this tree, it'd be greatly appreciated. Not even a second later, this wave of energy just overcame me, and I experienced unconditional love at such a strong level that for the next 45 minutes to an hour, I just sat there with tears coming down my cheeks. It just consumed me, this feeling of love. And so that was what I considered to be my first real energetic experience with him. Now, the next one's this October 20th, 2020. I was listening to a couple YouTube videos, and one was a channeler, and she was channeling Jesus. And one of the messages that he gave was, if you're having a hard time in this life opening up your heart, invite me in and I'll help you. And the next video I watched was this dude named Enoch 777. He was talking about how every time you have a shower, it's like you're being baptized. So right after watching these 2 videos, I said, okay, Jesus, I'm like, next shower I have, you want to meet me and, baptize me and open up my heart, it'd be greatly appreciated. This was earlier on in the day. Now, later on at night, around 7:30, I had a shower and I completely forgot about what I said, right? Halfway through my shower doing my thing when this wave of energy comes over me again. And I was like, what's going on? The next thing you know, I felt this extremely large, like 5-foot tall, buzzing energy right beside me. I could hear this bzzz, and my skin just started popping like popcorn. It was, even in the shower, it was just going nuts. And this, again, this feeling of Jesus overcame me. And this lasted quite a while, and I could feel this energy exchange where I was receiving all these downloads. And I remember stepping out of the shower after that experience and picturing all these people that I had resentment towards, and it was like completely forgiven. I had a total understanding of the role they played in my life. Now, the next one would have been sometime before June 8th, 2021. The steel trees that I make, I have one. After that experience, the 6th tree in the collection is called the Yeshwa Tree. So this one's got quartz crystal powder and sawdust in it to represent the cross. And it's got all quartz powder on it, or quartz crystal on the bottom, right? Now, the first stage in making these things is stamping the bottom and autographing it, putting some resin on it, and then there's 3 layers of paint that go on these things. The first layer is a white layer of paint, protective paint, and I like to call it putting on the soul. But I'd stamped 2 of these trees on Christmas, his birthday, right? And all I had done to it was put the white layer of protective paint. They were sitting in my garage for months. And then this old friend of mine comes by, and he was like, oh, my birthday's coming up. So I was like, okay, cool. I got 2 here. Maybe they're sitting here. I'll make one for your birthday, one for me. Now, they were already stamped. One was number 2, one was number 3, right? And so I wanted him to intuitively choose without knowing the number. So I put both of them in my hands. And for some reason, I pointed them towards him. And that's when he started doing the funky chicken. It was like he was having a seizure standing up. So I put my trees down and I grabbed him, lower him to the ground. His eyes are in the back of his head. And right as I was about to say, I thought in my head, should I go inside and call the ambulance? I heard no, and this energy of Jesus overcame me, and I instantly knew that everything was going to be okay. A moment later, he snaps to, and I was like, "Yo, do you remember what just happened?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "When you pointed those trees at me, this wave of Jesus energy just came at me to the point where I lost control." And so my fourth experience of being visited by Jesus was on Third Beach in Vancouver on June 8th, 2021. And, I was there with the same guy, just laid down the blanket, and I sat down, hadn't unpacked my stuff yet. And the years leading up to that for me have been pretty rough. Going through suicidal depression, losing my mom to cancer, going through divorce, all these things. And so when I sat down on this blanket, I felt like I was in paradise. And, the sun was shining. It was the water was coming in. There's always good looking people running around Third Beach. I just felt like I was in absolute paradise. And I fell into this uncontrollable laugh. Now, I was sitting on the blanket and I kind of lost, I couldn't even hold myself up. I just fell over, I had to put my hand up, otherwise my mouth would have been in the sand. And the next thing I know, with my eyes open, I just see bright white light everywhere. Now the sun's behind me. I'm looking forward towards the beach. And as I'm seeing all this bright white light, like nothing but, these two brighter beings started to emerge from the center. And before I could even ask what was going on, this feeling of Jesus came over me, and this large round object that I had no idea at the time what it was the sun. And what I've come to realize is that I was in the 12th dimension where Jesus hangs out. The sun is an ascended master, and Jesus is in this dimension, and it's super high vibrational, unconditional love. And so those were my four big experiences of being visited by Jesus. And so I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I've come to learn, like after my last experience, or at least believe. Okay, I don't want to say I'm right and someone else is wrong. This is just what I believe. So after my experience on Third Beach, I sat there after I was able to move. I got up, and for like the next 7-8 hours, I absolutely felt like I was God in human form. And what I've come to believe is that the soul that's in Jesus and the soul that's in you, it all comes from the same place. And so what does that really mean? Well, that means we are all gods creating our own reality. Jesus is an ascended being. He's been at it a lot longer than most of us. So he's a guardian of humanity. And one thing I come to realize, like after that experience, was that there's really nothing to fear except fear itself. Because if God wants to create something, he doesn't think of something he doesn't want, because it would be created, right? So if you fear something outside of yourself, all you're doing is trying to create it, right? I heard something that resonated with me one time, and that was that when Jesus was walking the earth, he wouldn't heal you unless you could tell him what you learned from your disease. And why I believe that is because if you're a God creating something, if he was to heal you, then you could just go back to being your old self and create it again. Like, you need to learn the lesson. Like, for instance, like my old man doesn't have to be diseased. Like, my old man broke his ankle, and he's like, what's the message in this? And I was like, you're almost 70 years old, working 6 days a week, working overtime, partying like a rock star. Your body's telling you like it's time to slow down, right? So another thing that I've come to believe from my experiences is that my whole life I always just prayed to Jesus. And what I've come to believe, like when I believe it was when I was working on the tree. It was either when I was working on the tree, the first experience I shared, or when I was in the shower. But I received a message that I heard from Jesus. And that was when, okay, this is how it came in. It sounded like this. Archangel Michael may have saved you that night in your garage, but it was me that sent him. So what I've now come to believe is that Jesus being a guardian of humanity, he has the archangels working with him. They're all on the same team. Looking after the humans is a big job, and Jesus got a lot going on. So he has workers like any other thing, there's not just a CEO of a business, there's workers, right? So he uses these, or they work together with the angels to help out humanity. And that was new to me, as even after my Archangel Michael experience, I knew nothing about archangels. So I thought that was interesting. I also wanted to share after I did a show on the Jeff Mara podcast, I went into detail about all my experiences, and I was reading through the comments, and I noticed a couple comments of people saying like, channeling Jesus is new age demonic stuff. It doesn't happen, this and that. Well, here's my opinion on it. I believe 110% you can channel Jesus, and I also do believe that some of what they're saying has truth to it, where you can also channel negative entities that give you false information. So you have to be careful and know what you're doing. Now, here's why I believe Jesus can channel. Another thing these people were saying is like, Jesus doesn't need to channel this and that. After my experience on Third Beach in Vancouver, what I've come to realize is that Jesus is chilling in the 12th dimension, which is a super high vibrating, unconditional love kind of place, right? If you're down here on earth and you want to channel Jesus, okay, he doesn't hang out here on earth because the earth's energy field, the vibration, is too dense. It would affect him long term. So he hangs out in his cool place, right? His man cave. And so when someone down here on earth wants to channel Jesus, it takes very little energy for him to send a message through this individual. When Jesus came to me on October 20th, 2020 in the shower as an energetic being that was vibrating my whole body, he actually left the 12th dimension and came down into this reality. Can you imagine how much energy that would take? It must have taken him an extreme amount of energy to actually come from where he's hanging all the way into the washroom of my old man's house, right? Yeah, coming into this dense reality. So that's why I do believe that you can channel Jesus. It's a lot less energy for him. So I just wanted to share some of these things that I believe because I find them interesting. I want to thank everyone for watching, all the people that have subscribed. That's unbelievable. Thank you. If you find this information and you'd like to subscribe, I try to put out 2 or 3 videos a week. You can hit the bell and the videos will pop right up. If you'd like to leave a comment, I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this brings some kind of clarity. Have a great day.